Welcome back to Trove One, everybody. Today we're in the shop. I got the camper down here. I need to try to fix a few things. I need to do a lot of stuff, but I'm just going to work on what I can today. I've already been working on, I had to pull this cover off. There's some flaps in there that allow air to go back and forth, which they're all sealed up now with spray foam, but I was getting a leak into my kitchen area right here through this pillar, and it was coming down and leaking through a hole in there and then getting in and then running out into my kitchen. I think I've already got that sealed up. Leaks are no good. Part of the reason the kitchen hasn't been finished is I haven't had time to fix that little leak. Next, I'm going to work on this step rail. So I'm going to remove all these brackets. I still have a step rail from the Suburban that we took off, because we ripped one off the Suburban, if you remember. Then we ripped one off the camper. I removed all of them off the Suburban, so I've got one good one left. This one over here is already partially broken. That one's broke. So the step rails aren't going to be on it for long. They're aluminum. They don't hold up. They're not rock sliders. I'm going to build rock sliders, but I don't know when. And we use this side for getting in and out, and it's really nice for the kids to have the step there to just climb up into the camper. And now, instead of a step, we have jagged aluminum edges here. So I'm going to at least pull these brackets off. If things aren't bent up too much under there, I'm going to put this other step on. If they are bent up too much, I'm just going to take it off and maybe take the other one off and just do a complete delete on the step rails on this until further notice, when we can put rock sliders on it. That'll be a future video, probably on Tracer Customs. But let's get to work on this for now. Just need to get some stuff done on this. I need to work on the kitchen, need to work on the interior, and try to get some more things finished, hopefully before Rendezvous in the Ozarks. We are going to be there. We're going to have Tracer Customs booth there. We should have the tow truck there. We're going to have the camper there. I don't know exactly where you'll be able to find us, but you'll be able to find us somewhere. We may even be doing, I think we're going to be doing a class on adventuring as a family. I believe they've said yes to us doing that class. Not 100% sure, but I believe so. So we're going to be at Rendezvous in the Ozarks this year. It's in like 3 weeks. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys out there. But I need to get to work. I don't know if you can see under here, but these brackets right here, this is one of the brackets. This one's the only one that's really bent. Ugh. This one, all the others are pretty straight, but there's just these brackets. It's just those brackets that hold that step rail on, and they're just bolted to the body. They're not bolted to the frame. They're little steel brackets that bolt to the body, and then the aluminum step rail bolts to that. So I've got one bent one, but I think I can probably straighten it up enough to get this old step rail back on. I gotta find an extra set of hands, aka a jack stand. One of the reasons I haven't been working on the camper a whole lot is A, we like to use it instead of working on it. B, since opening Tracer Customs, a lot of my tools and stuff that are my personal tools I've brought down here to help with the company. So a lot of the stuff that I had in my trailer at the house is now around the shop down here. And so I don't have my tool trailer together, and I don't have very many tools at home. I have some, but not enough to do everything. So until I can get my tool trailer back going and have my kind of mobile tools, I can't really work from home. And that's why I haven't been working on the camper that much, because there's a lot of things I want to do, but I hate leaving home on the weekend and leaving the kids and everything at home and leaving Sarah at home and coming down here to work on stuff. The shop is really nice. I got more tools down here. I got more resources. It's very nice to work on stuff, but it's not nice to work on stuff when you're working on your own stuff and you would rather be doing it with your kids and your wife in your yard. It's just more fun to get to include them, and like my boys could be helping me with this right now. It's super easy. They could be learning stuff, but instead I'm down here by myself, and I don't enjoy working on projects like this near as much on my personal projects when I can't do it with my kids. So that's why I haven't been working on as much. Hopefully I can get my trailer going soon and get some of my tools back as things get going down here, and then I can take this back and work on it back in the yard like I used to, which is what I enjoy. Or maybe someday we'll have our own shop at the house, but you know, that's expensive. So for now, I'll use a jack stand and I'll do what I can do. Alright, good as new. Look at that there step rail. This part up here is a little bit cattywampus and the bracket's a little bent there, but we don't really use this door that much anyway. We just use this one, and it's a lot easier for the kids to climb out in and out with the step, and it's a lot easier to work on getting the tent set up with the step. So that'll last us a little while till I do something dumb again and rip that one off, but hopefully not. And soon we'll get some actual rock sliders built for this thing so that it can handle a little bit more if we do cross something that's a little bit much for it. All right, now I gotta find out what else to work on. All right guys, here's what we're gonna work on next. We're gonna give the kitchen a little love. I'm gonna basically pull everything out and paint everything just to seal up the wood a little bit better and make it look a little better for the time being. I think I'm actually gonna rework a lot of the kitchen sometime in the near future, but I don't know exactly when, so I'm going to try to go ahead and make it get us by for a little longer. It's looking a little rough, it's a little dirty, so I'm going to sand everything down, or a lot of it down, and then throw some paint on it. I just ran down to the hardware store. If you want to get some cheap paint, go down and ask them what kinds of paint they have that they either messed up or something happened. I got a gallon of paint for $6, which would usually be like 40 something bucks. But they had a can of gray, and I didn't care what color, so they had a can of gray and black and pink. I said, give me the can of gray, and I got enough paint to paint all this. So I'm going to paint the kitchen gray, and then later on I think I'm going to go back. There's a few things I want to change on it and then rework and make it look a lot better. I'm going to do some finished wood faces and some different things later on, but I don't have time to do that right now, so I just want to make it better. And then I need to move on to the interior and try to work on trim work. But for now, I'm just going to work on the kitchen. Alright, I got all the kitchen stuff pulled out here. So here it is without any of the drawers or anything in it. I'm just going to take my sander and run over all this with the sander real quick and then blow all the dust off, get that painted, and do the same thing with the drawers. I've got to strip the rails off these drawers. So far, everything on the kitchen has been holding up really well. The heavy duty sliders are great. These standard light duty ones, not so great. I'm gonna have to replace them before too long, I think. They're still working, but they're not working as well as they were. So when I rebuild the kitchen with nicer stuff, I'll probably replace those with heavier duty ones. They just haven't held up very well. So time to get to sanding and painting. All right, I got everything sanded down here. Now I just gotta get enough dust off of it so I can get some paint going. Alrighty, time to paint all of this gray. It's gonna look different here shortly. Well guys, I made some progress. It's getting there, but it's also getting late. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna go home. I'll come back to this another day and keep working. All right, guys, it's another day. I got a little bit of time to work on the camper. You can see the paint's dried. I'm gonna put another coat on this as best I can and get some more of the drawers painted so they can all get painted and finished out a little bit more. So I don't have a whole lot of time to work on it today, but I'm gonna do what I can so I can keep making some progress. And after watching me paint, you'll all know exactly who not to hire to paint any of your stuff. Painting is not my specialty. I don't really mind it. I just don't usually have time to take time to make it beautiful. I'm just like, I gotta get this painted. Let's get it done now. All right, I got another coat on most of it. It's all I'm gonna do tonight. Let this dry. I gotta come back and do some trimming around the edges of them and stuff, but maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Don't have time today. Alrighty, it's another night. I'm back working on the kitchen a little bit. I got everything painted, all my drawers. Still thinking about redoing the whole kitchen and doing some nicer woodwork, but who knows? That may be a couple of years from now. I do have to fix one little problem. The way I built this drawer, there's a very large area here that is not supported from the bottom, and there's a slight sag in that right there. Part of the reason there's a sag there is because I never fastened this up here because there's not a lot to screw this to that has much strength, but I'm going to go ahead and pick that up a little bit and then fasten the top and try to get it to stay in place. It's not sagging much. I don't think it's really going to sag any more than what it is currently, but I want to try to get it as straight as possible. And then if it's still going to sag in the future, I may change up my design when I rework the kitchen. Who knows? You never know what I'm going to decide to do. But I got to reassemble the dual slide. I got to put all the sliders back on, and then I've got some handles. I think I'm gonna try to put some handles on these drawers to make them a little bit easier for us to operate. We will see how that holds. Shooting screws in like that's not really the best way to do that. I probably ought to get a piece of angle iron, do like a piece of an angle iron strip. The problem there is there's this wooden structure here is basically just cosmetic. The only structure is if you get up into this metal of the body right here, and it's just hard to get any screws to hold in that. So that's really not a very good spot for fastening this thing. If it doesn't work, I'll have to change some stuff. I don't know what. I'll have to change some stuff and make it a little bit more structurally sound. But I'll worry about that later. It hasn't affected the operation. I could just tell it was sagging a little bit. So we'll see if that straightens things out and holds it. Who knows? I may change it later anyway. So, all right, I need to put the slider together and then get the drawers in. Pretty sure I picked the hard way to do this, putting all this together before mounting it on these. I think I should have done this in a little different order, but too late now. Let's see if we can get it to work. Alright, dual slide is back in. Not sure how I'm liking this paint. It's showing fingerprints really bad, and that's what I was trying to avoid, because everything when you're camping gets touched by kids, by us. I don't know. I still want to do wood grain on all this. Really making me want to just rebuild the kitchen with higher quality wood instead of pine, to get like birch, do everything in birch and with like oak faces or something. I don't know. I just want it to look better. It's very functional, but I just want it to look better. But this will work for now. Yes, I should have put the handle on before painting it, but you know what? I didn't. Been in a hurry, and I didn't even know if I was gonna get the handles on, so painting was the priority over handles. But I'm gonna get handles on because it's gonna be super nice. My router bit is very dull, but I'm gonna try to get 2 more handles in here. That way we don't have to grab the edge of the drawers and we can actually use a handle. Sarah will appreciate it. Alrighty, it is all back together. Drawer slide, all the drawers, they got handles. So there she is. It is now gray in the kitchen. I feel like I need to put some more lights. I need like another light up in here or two, maybe. Maybe I'll add some more lights in there later. I also want to do a little platform. Right in here is a hole in the water pumps down there. Sometimes I store things down there, but most of the time things just fall off in there, and then we got a bunch of stuff up here, and then you can't reach them. So I think I'm gonna cut a board and put it over that, but probably not gonna happen today. That'll probably be another day, because I'm running out of time. I think I gotta put everything back in the kitchen and probably head out for the day. All right, guys, it's another day. I'm switching gears a little bit. I need to work on the Suburban. Basically everything on the Suburban is broken. Not quite, but almost. You may notice in some of our recent videos the front end was looking a little funny when it was in 4-wheel drive. Turns out after we put all the kryptonite parts on, I took it to get aligned, and when they aligned it, I don't know if they left something loose or if just what we do made it come loose. Anyway, these bolts on the top of the upper control arms did not get, they weren't tight enough, so they came loose. So the upper control arm started shifting around when it was in 4-wheel drive and there was torque on it. So I took it back to get aligned, and they said, oh, we can't align it. Your wheel bearings are bad, your pitman arm's bad, your idler arm is bad, and I already had a CV boot torn, so that CV axle needs to be replaced. So I'm not going to replace all the parts, so I'm not going to get aligned because I don't have time, because Rendezvous in the Ozarks is next week. I'm just trying to get this running, functioning well enough to make it up there. So I'm doing wheel bearings, I'm going to do CV axles. I'm not even going to worry about aligning it right now. I'm just going to tighten it all up. It's just going to be good enough for the time being. And then when I get back, I got to figure out an idle arm and pitman arm solution. I have worn out more of those than I can count. And I tried putting a kryptonite on at one point and it wouldn't fit properly. I don't know if I got the wrong one or if there's just something different on this vehicle. And they don't make an idle arm. They make an idle arm support bracket, but they don't make an actual idler arm. So I can't find a heavy duty idler arm. So if anyone knows of a heavy duty pitman arm and idler arm, let me know, because we keep wearing them out. And most of the time this thing is just not aligned very well, but it is what it is. So we're gonna do wheel bearings and CV axles. I have Moog HD wheel bearings on this right now. Maybe they're not HD, but Moog, I think they're heavy duty. They've been on about 3 years and they're worn out. I wanted to put kryptonite, but they didn't have them in stock. I couldn't get them in time, so I'm just putting some Napa ones on here. I'll order the kryptonite later and have them ready to go. When these go out, I'll probably get 1 or 2 years out of these. Wheel bearings go on these things pretty fast. And then I'm upgrading CV axles to this one right here. This is from Napa. You may see this part right here is a lot bigger than most of them, and that's because there's a slip yoke in here. So this one is designed where the center shaft can slide in and out with as your suspension's going up and down. So it's supposed to get better articulation and everything out of this CV axle. I've always run cheap CV axles because that's the main thing. If something's going to break on the front end while I'm driving, I prefer for it to be a CV axle because they're easy to fix on these. So, but I'm going to try these and see if I can get some better articulation out of them and just see. I'm going to see how they work, see how they perform. I don't know. We'll find out. So, CV axles going in, wheel bearings going in, and then I need rear brakes. So I'm going to do some rear brakes on it. So I'm going to get this done as quick as possible. So there's going to be lots of time lapse. I'm just going to get to work and try to get this done. Alrighty, rear brakes are done, front end is done, hubs and CV axles, so it is kind of ready to go again, except for all the other problems we got. The old Suburban is it's dying. It needs a lot of work. I discovered while doing this brake over here that this axle shaft bearing is going out. It's actually leaking axle oil over here. So the rear axle needs to be rebuilt, which I'm surprised hasn't happened before now, as much towing as we do, as much weight is on that rear axle. But the rear axle needs to be rebuilt. Our motor is trying to give up on us. It's smoking a little bit. It's getting a little oil in the cylinders probably. My mechanic, last time he looked at it, he said your time's limited, and I believe him, because it's struggling a little bit. Our transmission is okay, but I expect it will probably go out before too long too, because it's gotten pretty hot a lot. It's had a hard life. So basically we need a new rear axle, new transmission, a new motor, probably need to rebuild the front differential and the transfer case while we're at it. So we're figuring out what we're going to do, because there's a lot of different options. There's some things I'd like to do, but I don't know what we're going to do, and I don't know what we're going to be able to afford or when we're going to be able to do it. So we may have to run the 8.1 for a while and lay off a little bit of the off-road stuff, because well, there's just a lot of things that need to be done for this, for it to run reliably and be able to do what we need to do. We may fix a few things and get what we can out of it, and when it blows up we grab the tow truck and go get it, and that's what it is. But we're gonna have to do something before long and put a lot of money into the Suburban to get it back where it needs to be. It's got 240,000 miles on it, and I've put the last 110 on it, and it's been abused. It's done a lot of towing. It's been run hard. It's got wheel spacers. It's lifted. Anything you could do to this to make it wear out faster has been done to it pretty much. And it's just had a hard life, and it's getting tired. So we got to figure out what we're going to do, if we're just going to switch to the 8.1 permanently, if we're going to rebuild this. If we're going to rebuild it, how do we want to rebuild it? I've kicked around dropping a 6.0 in it and putting a bigger transmission in it, but then I'm worried about blowing up the rear end because of extra horsepower and torque. We've talked about solid axle swapping it, but I'm hesitant to put a Dana 44 in it, which is what a lot of the solid axle swap options are for these. But I'm not confident in that solution. If I'm going to solid axle swap it, I really want to put 3/4 or 1 ton axles under it, maybe a 14-bolt full float in the rear end and a Ford 3/4 ton axle or 1 ton axle in the front. I don't know. Those options require a lot of fabrication, a lot of custom work, which I would love to do, but it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time, and I don't know we'll be able to do that. So don't know what we're going to do with the Z71. Hopefully we're going to try to limp it over to Rendezvous, and then we'll assess after that and see. We'll figure it out. We also have a baby coming in a few months, so you know there's a lot of stuff going on, and this may get rebuilt, or maybe I can probably buy another one in better condition for cheaper than I can rebuild this one, pull all the off-road parts of it, swap them over, and we're back running. I can buy an identical one of these with lower miles for fairly inexpensive. That's the nice thing about them. Or I can put used parts on. Now, there's a lot of options. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm rambling because I'm trying to figure this out. But we'll keep doing the stuff we enjoy, whether it's we may have to not go quite as crazy off-road for a little bit while this gets rebuilt or replaced. Maybe we'll just build the 8.1 out. I don't really want to. Or maybe we'll sell the 8.1. Maybe we sell the 8.1 and take that money and put it into this, drop a new motor, new transmission, rebuild the front and rear ends, and we've basically got a new Suburban at that point. That's probably the most logical thing to do, but we'd be down for a little bit without the 8.1 as our backup. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll make something work. I think this is all I'm going to get done in this video. We've got some more stuff we want to do on the camper and things, but we're gearing up for Rendezvous here at Tracer Customs, and we're going to be at Rendezvous. I think we're doing a adventuring as a family class, so if you want to, we're going to teach what we know and some of our tips and tricks. And it's always cool to get together with other families, and they've got some ideas too on things that have helped them get out and do things with their kids and camp successfully. We're gonna have the tow truck out there. Tracer Customs is gonna be out there, and we'll be able to do, we're gearing up with a tow truck and a trailer load of tools from the shop so we can do installations. Tim's gonna be out there and he'll be able to do installations of like lights or radios or cell boosters, things like that at the event. Our booth will be set up to do stuff like that at the event, and then we'll be around. We're gonna do the class. We're gonna be in the storyteller area some. I don't know exactly when, but if you're coming to Rendezvous, come see us, come say hi. It's always cool to meet people and hear your stories. You've seen a lot of our story, but it's always cool to hear your stories. We've met some really cool people, some good friends now at these events, and so it's always cool. But I think I'm going to head home. I think we're going camping this weekend. Not with this one, though. We're taking the 8-1. We're going to keep it a little bit more mild, but we're going to go camp, enjoy some cool fall weather that's supposed to roll in today, and we'll see you next time. So thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, patrons. You help this all happen. If you want to get merch, you can go check out 3strandapparel.net. We've got some of our CCC shirts, Camping Plus Children Equal Chaos shirts over there. And if you want to see something else, let us know. Maybe we can get some other shirts or hats or something. We haven't really messed with the merch a whole lot, but we do have a little bit. So appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time.